Session is called to order. All please rise for a moment of silent prayer. Please remain standing for the Philippine National Anthem.
Bayang magiliw, perlas ng silanganan, alam ng puso, sa titik mo'y buhay. Lupang hinirang, duyan ka ng magiging, sa manlulupit, di ka pasisingil, sa dagat at bundok, sa simoy at sa langit mong bahaw, may nilang ang tula at awit sa paglayang minamahal. Ang kislap ng watawat mo'y tagumpay na nagdidinig, ang bituin at araw niya kailan pang may magdidilig. Lupa ng araw ng walang aming pagsinta, buhay ay langit sa piling mo. Aming ligaya dapat may mga api, at mamatay lang dahil sa'yo.
Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I move we defer the calling of the roll. I so move, Mr. Speaker.
Is there an objection? The chair hears none. Motion is approved.
Objection. Mr. Speaker,
The Honorable Atienza is recognized.
the order of business is very clear. Number one, that we should do the calling of the roll. This representation is wary that if we dispense with this, we may proceed to voting on second reading, third reading, and be passing legislation which could be questionable later on. Remember, there are watchdogs organization now watching what Congress is doing and the procedures being followed here. We do not want to be answerable later on if they question the proceedings. So I am objecting to the suspension of the calling of the roll unless the majority leader assures us that no voting will be done after the dispensing of the calling of the roll.
Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, the sentiments of the Honorable Atienza are very well placed. And let me assure him that there will be no voting on controversial matters. And if there will be voting, Mr. Speaker, after a roll call, we will make sure that those who are not here will not be counted.
We thank the majority leader for that position and that clarification as we are coming from what happened last Monday where after we agreed on the floor that those who are not present will not be allowed to vote, we proceeded to vote on second reading, on third reading, a measure which is very important, critical to the welfare of children under questionable conditions because the Secretariat announced a total vote of 220 when those present only numbered 146. So with that assurance of the majority leader today, we withdraw any objection for the moment as long as no voting is done. Thank you.
Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I move that we take up the reference of business and direct the Secretary General to read the titles of the bills and resolutions and refer them to the proper committees. I so move, Mr. Speaker.
Is there any objection? The chair hears none. Motion is approved and the Secretary General is directed to read bills and resolutions on first reading for referral to the appropriate committees.
Reference of business. Bills on first reading. House Bill number 6283, declaring barangay officials as regular government employees, granting them fixed salaries and other benefits and allowances. Representative Castelo.
To the Committee on Civil Service and Professional Regulation.
House Bill number 6284, providing for the Magna Carta of Private Healthcare Workers, Representative Castelo.
to the Committee on Health and the Committee on Labor and Employment,
House Bill number 6285, creating the Boracay Island Development Authority, Representative Bautista.
to the Committee on Government Enterprises and Privatization,
House Bill number 6286, establishing an additional schools division office in Zamboanga City, Representative Dalipe.
to the Committee on Basic Education and Culture,
House Bill number 6287, creating a network of minister schools in the country, Representative Salceda.
to the Committee on Basic Education and Culture,
House Bill number 6288, declaring the 24th of January of every year as International Day of Education in the entire country and mandating its observance, Representative Biron.
to the Committee on Basic Education and Culture and the Committee on Higher and Technical Education,
House Bill number 6289, codifying the alternative child care laws, reorganizing the Inter-Country Adoption Board into the National Authority for Child Care, Representative Yu.
to the Committee on Welfare of Children,
House Bill number 6290, providing for the establishment of a district hospital in Ramon Magsaysay, 1st Legislative District of Zamboanga del Sur, to be known as the Ramon Magsaysay District Hospital, Representative Yu.
to the Committee on Health,
House Bill number 6291, amending sections 3, 8, and 9 of RA number 9856, Representative Rodriguez.
to the Committee on Economic Affairs,
House Bill number 6292, reorganizing and converting the Insurance Commission into a collegial body, Representative Rodriguez.
to the Committee on Economic Affairs,
House Bill number 6293, renewing the franchise granted to ABS-CBN Corporation under RA number 7966 for 25 years from effectivity of this act, Representative Legarda.
to the Committee on Legislative Franchises,
House Bill number 6294, prohibiting discrimination on the basis of sexual orientation and gender identity and expression, Representative Rosas, Castro Franz, and Elago.
to the Committee on Women and Gender Equality,
House Bill number 6295, promoting access to affordable school meals for public kindergarten and elementary pupils, establishing for the purpose the Universal Free School Meals Program, Representative Salceda.
to the Committee on Basic Education and Culture,
House Bill number 6296, establishing a TESDA training and accreditation center in Solana, Cagayan, to be known as the Cagayan TESDA Training and Accreditation Center, Representative Lara.
to the Committee on Higher and Technical Education,
House Bill number 6297, strengthening the right of the people to free expression and to peaceably assemble and to petition the government for redress and grievances, Representative Zarate, Gaite, and Colyama.
to the Committee on People's Participation,
House Bill number 6298, increasing the monthly social pension of senior citizens, Representative Peña.
to the Committee on Special Committee on Senior Citizens,
House Bill number 6299, providing for the protection of financial consumers, Representative Hernandez.
to the Committee on Banks and Financial Intermediaries,
House Bill number 6300, mandating banking institutions to strengthen the financing system for agricultural, fisheries, and rural development in the Philippines, Representative Hernandez.
to the Committee on Banks and Financial Intermediaries,
House Bill number 6301, providing protection to cooperative depositors and establishing the Philippine Cooperative Insurance Corporation, Representative Gatchalian.
to the Committee on Banks and Financial Intermediaries,
House Bill number 6302, renewing for another 25 years the franchise granted to Odyongan Telephone Corporation under RA number 8956, Representative Madrona.
to the Committee on Legislative Franchises,
House Bill number 6303, establishing a Transcendent Unified Government Mobile Application for Government Services, setting a framework for common standards for government mobile applications, Representative Garcia Pablo John.
to the Committee on Information and Communications Technology,
House Bill number 6304, codifying the alternative child care laws, reorganizing the Inter-Country Adoption Board into the National Authority for Child Care, Representative Ferrer Julian.
to the Committee on Welfare of Children,
House Bill number 6305, establishing the Philippine Children's Medical Center for Visayas and the Philippine Children's Medical Center for Mindanao, Representative Rodriguez.
to the Committee on Health,
House Bill number 6306, establishing National Kidney and Transplant Institutes in Iloilo City for Visayas and Cagayan de Oro City for Mindanao, Representative Rodriguez.
to the Committee on Health,
House Bill number 6307, establishing a lung center of the Philippines in Bohol for the Visayas and Cagayan de Oro City for Mindanao. Representative Rodriguez.
to the Committee on Health,
House Bill number 6308, establishing Philippine Heart Centers in Cebu for Visayas and Cagayan de Oro City for Mindanao. Representative Rodriguez.
to the Committee on Health,
House Bill number 6309, protecting the rights of internally displaced persons. Representative Rodriguez.
to the Committee on Human Rights,
House Bill number 6310, providing for a comprehensive chemical engineering law. Representative Matugas.
to the Committee on Civil Service and Professional Regulation,
House Bill number 6311, creating a DepEd, the plantilla positions for guidance counselors in every elementary school and additional plantilla positions for guidance counselor for high school, increasing the salaries of guidance counselors and guidance-related positions. Representative Castro Franz, Gaite, Colyamat, Brosas, and Elago.
to the Committee on Appropriations,
Resolutions. House Resolution 719, directing the House Committees on Foreign Affairs, Civil Service and Professional Regulation, and Government Reorganization to conduct an investigation on the implementation of Foreign Service Act and the Civil Service Law and the government reorganization plans for 1986 and 1972. Representative Lopez.
to the Committee on Rules,
House Resolution 720, congratulating and commending Dr. Potenciano Yong S. Larazabal III for being the first Filipino to conquer the World Marathon Challenge held last February 6 to 12, 2020. Representative Frasco.
to the Committee on Youth and Sports Development,
House Resolution 721, urging strongly the NEDA and the DPWH to consider the Valladolid or Bago City both in Negros Occidental as the entry and exit points of the proposed bridge connecting Negros Occidental and Guimaras. Representative Ferrer Juliet.
to the Committee on Public Works and Highways,
House Resolution 722, urging the NHCP, CHED, and the DepEd to report to Congress regarding their programs and activities in compliance with their mandates under RA number 11304 or the Philippine-American War Memorial Day Act. Representatives Castro Franz, Gaite, Colyamat, Brosas, and Elago.
to the Committee on Rules,
House Resolution 723, calling on the DOH to fully utilize its powers and authority as lead agency in mobilizing the Interagency Task Force for the management of emerging infectious diseases in the Philippines. Representative Biason, Lopez, Lim, Datol, Singson, Gonzales, Aurelio Dong, Reyes, Campos, Romulo, Nieto, Lacson Peña, Lacson Noel, and Revilla.
to the Committee on Health,
House Resolution 724, declaring a climate and environmental emergency and calling for the mobilization of government agencies and instrumentalities and LGUs towards the effective implementation of environmental, climate change, adoption and mitigation, and disaster risk reduction and management laws in light of the global climate and environmental emergency. Representative Ligarda.
to the Special Committee on Climate Change and the Committee on Disaster Management,
Communications, letter dated January 31, 2020, of Maria Glenda E. Lim, State Auditor 5, Supervising Auditor, Auditor Group CGS 1 and 2 Water Districts, and other CGS standalone agencies, Regional Office Number 6, COA, furnishing the House with a copy of the annual audit report on the San Rafael Water District, San Rafael, Iloilo, for the years ended December 31, 2015 up to 2018.
to the Committee on Appropriations,
Letter dated February 7, 2020, of Eleanor O. Mena, State Auditor 5, Supervising Auditor Groups CGS 1 and 2 Water Districts, and other CGS standalone agencies, Regional Office Number 6, COA, furnishing the House with copies of the annual audit report of the Dumalog Water District, Dumalag Capiz, and Panay Railways Incorporated, Govena Street, La Paz, Iloilo City.
to the Committee on Appropriations,
Committee reports. Reports number 233 to 240 of the Committee on Justice and Appropriations on House Bill numbers 6323 to 6330.
to the Committee on Rules,
Report number 241 of the Committee on Local Government on House Bill number 6333.
To the Committee on Rules. Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, move to suspend sessions for a minute.
Session suspended.
After she reads it, we'll go to the sponsor to Junior.
Session resumed. Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, may we recognize the guests of Honorable Irene Solog of Kalinga Party List. They are the admin, principal, teachers, and students of Maranatha Christian Academy of Manila, headed by Ms. Gladys Claire Quiliao, School Administrator, Ms. Reza Pestano, School Principal, Mrs. Annie Salcedo, Department Head, Mrs. Genevieve Heron, Department Head, Ms. Maria Joy Estabilo, Department Head, Ms. Miki Herauca, Department Head, and their students Nick Calios, Ednir Guerrero, Jericho Mesolania, Mariel Honson, John Micah Laragan, Philip Nadera, Julia Landicho, Kimberly Tamundong, Trixia Datu, and Ms. Julia Baroja.
The House of Representatives welcomes the guests of the Honorable Saulog. Thank you for your visit. Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I move that we consider on second reading House Bill number 6134 as contained in Committee Report number 210, and that the Secretary General be directed to read the title of the measure.
Is there any objection? The Chair hears none. Motion is approved, and the Secretary General is directed to read the title of the bill.
House Bill 6134, an act mandating banking institutions to strengthen the financing system for agricultural, fisheries, and rural development in the Philippines.
Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I move that we open the period of sponsorship and debate, and that the Chairman of the Committee on Banks and Financial Intermediaries, Representative Juni Kua, be recognized for his sponsorship.
The Honorable Juni Kua is recognized for his sponsorship speech.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, esteemed colleagues. Today, I rise to address the decades-old problem of agriculture and fisheries, affecting millions of marginalized farmers, fisher folks, and agrarian reform beneficiaries, which is the lack of credit. In fact, I dare say that our agricultural sector is currently in crisis. More and more farms are disappearing because they are deemed to be unprofitable. Although we have enacted policies to modernize and provide funding to this sector, it has failed miserably. The more recent Agri-Agra Reform Credit Act or Republic Act 10,000 passed in the year 2009 was supposed to address the problem of financing agriculture and fisheries, as it mandated all banks to lend at least 25% of its loanable funds to the sector, broken down as 15% for agriculture and 10% for agrarian reform beneficiaries. But after more than a decade, the sector has yet to feel the benefits of the law. Farmers have not been able to access the billions, hundreds of billions in fact, of credit that was supposed to be earmarked for them. The banks, ironically, have chosen to shy away from lending to individual farmers who may and may not be agrarian reform beneficiaries and fisher folk, and instead opt to pay hefty penalties imposed by the law. So the question that we ask is, why is this happening? This problem persists because of two things. First, there is the very high cost of lending to each individual small farm holder and fisherman. And by way of illustration, a bank would rather lend 25 million pesos to a cooperative, farmers organization, or a corporation for that matter, rather than lend 25 million pesos to 1,000 farmers. Needless to say, the administrative cost of lending to so many would be very unattractive to a bank. Some banks, such as the Land Bank of the Philippines, the Development Bank of the Philippines, they have tried to address this high cost of lending to individual small farm holders or individual fishermen by lending only to their cooperatives that have shown viable operation. However, over many decades, unfortunately, there are only a handful of cooperatives that have shown viability. That would merit accommodation. The effort of the Cooperative Development Authority, or CDA, to organize the farmers and fisher folk has not borne acceptable results, expectedly due to lack of funds, as always claimed. Oftentimes, many cooperatives have had good start, but only to end up quarreling over financial interests. Secondly, It is an admitted fact that for these types of loans, the rate of default is very, very high. Why would a farmer default on his loan obligation, one may ask? And the following scenario can probably explain this. This is my personal observation over the decades that I have dealt with rural farmers, peasant folks, and agrarian reform beneficiaries. A hectare, and by the way, the national average is even less than a hectare. A hectare of rice farm, even at 2 croppings or harvests every year, can earn only at best 80,000 pesos. And in the case of corn, this is even less. And this is assuming that there is no damage brought about by typhoon or climate change. Reduced to monthly income, this would amount to less than 7,000 pesos. How can a farmer repay a bank loan if his earnings is not even enough to cover his living expenses? Naturally, a farmer borrower would most probably, very likely default on his loan obligations. It is worthwhile to note that this is the way of life in the countryside. Monocropping of rice and corn is the norm nationwide. We can plainly see, therefore, that it has become a chicken and egg situation at this point. On one hand, agriculture is unprofitable for small farmers because the only way for them to earn more is to have more capital. But on the other hand, the banks that can provide capital have never done so. And mind you, even under threat of penalties mandated by our law, precisely because this sector is unprofitable and risky. So unless we do something innovative to address this problem, the problem of high cost of lending and the viability itself, profitability itself of farming and fishing, this dire situation and a vicious cycle at that will continue to persist until probably all our farms would have disappeared. As one writer quipped, and I quote, "We are an agricultural country importing rice and an archipelagic country importing fish." Close quote. And irony. From this scenario, this humble representation, with the help of a team of competent men and women from the different agencies of government, have formulated this bill. Innovative intervention to help the sector. How? First, we have to group them together to reduce the cost of lending. As mentioned earlier, individual farmers, fisherfolk, loan applicants are unattractive and risky for banks. They can be organized as cooperatives or associations, which can then directly interface with the banks for their financing needs. The cooperative can then lend to their members, who do not have to deal with the cumbersome application procedures of formal institutions. Second, this we must understand. It is not enough that you give them access to credit as what we have done today under Republic Act 10,000. This is where these policy attempts fell very short. Other than credit access, we must ensure that we make the venture itself profitable. And this can chicken, cattle, pigs, to supplement the farm's income. This is integrated farming. All these programs are already being done by the Department of Agriculture over the years. And what is the missing link? The only missing link is financing. The money is there, the programs of DA is there, but they do not flow to where they should go. My dear colleagues, over a 9-year period, I had the fortune to be able to engage and interest the Korean government to help us pilot integrated farming, and we have found it to have worked. This could be a solution. Now, if they are grouped together, it allows them to borrow even bigger amounts since the risk is shared. Going further, access to credit can even allow them to engage in higher value endeavor, such as agricultural product processing, which greatly improves profitability. Instead of just rice farming, they can go into rice to palay processing, rice milling, transporting, trading, making more money in the end. However, given the failure rate of agricultural cooperatives and associations, there is a clear need to first capacitate them, train them to be managed professionally. This is where our programs have dismally failed. This bill addresses the problem by setting aside a special fund that is to be used only for capacity and institution building for cooperatives and associations nationwide. Through our consultations with the banks, we have explained our concept, and they have committed to not only contribute, but also to help manage the fund so that it can capacitate the cooperatives, the associations, using best practices available in the private sector. To achieve this, the bill creates a private sector-dominated council to manage this special fund, similar to a concept that we have done decades ago to enhance and empower the Export Development Council. The council is tasked to take charge of capacitating agricultural and rural cooperatives nationwide so that they can be profitable, viable vehicles for growth and development of farmers and fisher folks. The bank realized that by helping these cooperatives and associations, they not only build clients for their business, but they ultimately contribute to the country as well. In this new concept, banks can be active rather than passive members of our communities by helping build capacity for the agricultural sector through cooperatives in their community. In turn, these cooperatives can be the clients of the bank when they become profitable and viable. Unlike previous attempts to help the sector, the public-private partnership is led or dominated by the private sector, who is more adept at managing a business and will have more malasakit, quote unquote, so to speak, since they are motivated by profit. In the end, by helping these cooperatives and making them into lucrative businesses, they are also helping the business of their bank. The proposed measure seeks to institutionalize a framework that will be more responsive to the needs of the agricultural sector, while providing for ways for the banking industry to take on a more expansive role in line with a policy approach that is coordinated, systematic, broad-based, and inclusive. The concept that banks are not merely credit providers, but stakeholders in rural development is an underlying yet unrealized principle in this law that we propose. By creating a special fund devoted exclusively to capacity building and related activities, and encouraging banks to contribute to such fund as a mode of alternative compliance with the mandatory credit allocation, the proposed measure is effectively cementing the role of the financial sector as a stakeholder and critical growth partner of the state in the countryside development. It is also worthwhile to mention that this bill is a product of a series of multi-sectoral, multi-agency consultation, workshops held over a period of several months with the active participation of the Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas and other government agencies, government regulators. Furthermore, it also is the result of my personal discussions with Governor Ben Jokno of the BSP, Secretary William Dar of DA, and the heads of the Land Bank and the DBP. And finally, Secretary Sandy Dominguez, who has inspired me to take on this challenge to directly address the problem of credit financing to the marginalized farmers, fisher folks, and agrarian reform beneficiaries, and indirectly addressing a great burden of the banking industry. So I hope, my dear colleagues, this will merit your support. Our farmers are the unsung heroes endlessly working. Maraming salamat po.
Majority Leader.
Are needed so that his good intentions are carried out for the benefit of the farmer and the fisherman. Pwede po ba?
Mr. Speaker, with the indulgence of my colleague, I did not hear very well
Well,
the questions. Pardon me.
we are requesting that we be allowed to ask some questions.
Oh yes, with honor and pleasure, Mr. Speaker.
Alam po ninyo ang ating kaibigang sponsor, bukod sa kamukhang kamuka ni Prime Minister Koizumi ng Japan, ay isang batikang mambabatas na sabi ko kanina ay ang puso niya ay nasa tamang lugar. This is a very timely measure, Mr. Speaker. Ang mga maliliit na magsasaka ang naghihirap ngayon. Ang maliliit na mga mangingisda ang pinakamahirap sa Pilipinas. Kaya tama po ito. Ito po yung aming inaasam-asam na mayroong katulad ni Congressman Kua na lilikha ng batas. Kasama niya yung mga co-sponsors na matulungan natin ang mga magsasaka at mangingisda. Tama po ba yung aming assumption na ang mangingisda ngayon ay pinakamahirap na Pilipino? In comparison to the other sectors, the fisher folk are the poorest in the country.
Totoo po yan. Tama po ang sinabi ni Honorable Atienza. Ang mga mangingisda, magsasaka, ay talaga naman pong naghihikahos kahit na ho sila ay magsipag, magtrabaho ng husto at the end of the day. Talaga pong because of these structural problems ay hindi po sila gumiginhawa. So, at ako po ay nagpapasalamat kay Ginoong Atienza sa kanyang mga papuri na tunay na nakapagpapataba ng puso. Sana po ay hindi ako maatake.
Mr. Prime Minister, Mr. Congressman, the problem of our farmers from the beginning up to now is actually basically one of lack of funding. Ganon din po ang problema ng mangingisda. Bukod sa wala na siyang mapangisdaan, wala pa siyang salapi para gumawa ng mas malaking bangka o bumili ng mas modernong gamit. Tama po ba yung ating mga assumption na yan?
Totoo po yan. Ang katotohanan po ay meron po tayong batas ngayon na pinapairal na nakaset aside po bilyong-bilyong pisong pera. Meron naman pong programa ang DA, subalit hindi po makarating yung pera sa mga maliliit na mangingisda at sa mga maliit na mga magsasaka. Dahil po sa mga kadahilanan aking nabanggit kanina.
Sa makatwid, kagalang-galang na sponsor, ang pakay nitong panukalang ito ay matulungan ng salapi ang magsasaka at ang mangingisda.
Totoo po yan. Exactly, Your Honor. This is the noble intention of this bill to capacitate the small farmers and the fisher folks who today banks refuse to lend because lending to them is very expensive. And so what we're proposing is that we organize them so that we reduce the cost of lending to them. And this can be done by organizing them, but providing money so that they can be organized properly. And at the same time, encourage them to go into value addition, go into new methods of catching fishes, culturing fishes, so that their venture of fishing or their venture of farming will become viable and profitable.
Maganda po ang natura ng ating kagalang-galang na sponsor. Pero hindi po ba mas epektibo at mas direkto ang magiging benepisyo kung ang salapi ay dediretso rin sa magsasaka at sa mangingisda? Dahil ang problema ngayon ay talagang hindi makapangutang ang isang mangingisda. Bibili lamang siya ng bagong lambat, wala siyang salapi. Bibili ng magpapaayos ng bangka, hindi rin siya makapagpagawa sapagkat wala siyang puhunan. Ganon din po magsasaka. So, sabi ninyo, ang pera ay padadaanin sa mga organisasyon. Hindi ba magiging mapanganib yun sapagkat yung tinutulungan nating individual, mga bahagi ng sektor, ay baka hindi po makinabang, ang makinabang ay yung namumuno at nagpapatakbo ng organisasyon. Tinignan po ba ninyo yung anggulong yon? Na yung inyong magandang intensyon ay baka hindi umabot sa kinauukulan.
Amin pong pinag-aralan yung bagay na yan at napag-aralan namin na kinakailangan na maging maipababa natin ang cost of lending sa magsasaka at sa mga mangingisda in some way. And the only way that we can think of is to organize them. Dahil po, kung papautangin natin ng tingi-tingi ang mga maliliit na magsasaka o mangingisda, ay napakataas po ng lending cost at napakahirap para sa mga magsasaka at mangingisda na makakomply sa mga documentary requirements na kinakailangan ding isumite sa regulators ng mga bangko. So, nakita po natin na ito po ang isang missing link at ito ang isang paraan para maparating ang pera nang hindi napaka-expensive ang pagpapautang. Pangalawa, kaya po nag-aalangang magpautang ang lending institution sa kadahilanan na individually ang mga magsasaka, kung nagmomonocropping lamang, talaga pong kinukulang yung kikitain. At kinakailangan po na sila ay maturuan ng integrated farming para nang sa ganon ay lumakali ang kanilang kinikita at sila ay maging viable. At kung ito ay gagawin natin, mas makakautang ng mas malaking halaga sila kung ang uutang ay isang organisasyon na merong tinatawag na equity counterpart na ang mga bangko naman sa aming pakikipag-usap sa kanila ay willing na tumulong din nang mag-set aside din ng equity counterpart na ang pwedeng panggalingan din ay yung kanilang ipapautang o di kaya ang panggagalingan ay yung special fund na ating pinuput up na siyang gagamitin sa pag-oorganisa ng ating mga kooperatiba. So, yan po ang isang nakikita natin na pamaraan dahil po kung tingi-tinging pagpapautang ay from a lender's point of view, bukod sa maraming kausap, ay nawawala ng economy of scale. Sapagkat po kung ang isang grupo ng magsasaka ay magtatanim halimbawa ng fruit-bearing trees at ito po ay mayroong critical mass para ma-process ay magkakaroon sila ng value-adding venture na hindi magagawa kung individual farmer. Ganon din po sa mga mangingisda. So ito po ang isang nakita namin na maaaring maging solusyon doon sa dalawang problema na ibinigay sa amin ng mga bangko na mga kadahilanan kung bakit sila ay nahihirapang magpautang. So, but at the end of the day, the test of the pudding is really in the eating. So, kung ito po ay ma-set up natin, ay pwede po naman nating testingin kung ano ang model na pwedeng maging successful. Wala naman po tayong pinopropose na one-size-fits-all na model, kundi flexibility is given to the council so that they can come up with the right model depending on the obtaining situation. Mr. Speaker.
Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, with the permission of the distinguished gentlemen, the Honorables Kua and Atienza, I move to suspend consideration of House Bill 6134. I so move, Mr. Speaker.
Is there any objection? Chair hears none. Motion is approved. Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I move to call the roll of the House of Members. I so move, Mr. Speaker.
Is there any objection? Chair hears none. Motion is approved, and the Secretary General is directed to call the roll.
Roll call of members of honorable representatives. Abante, Abaya, Abellanosa, Abu, Abweg Saldivar, Abunda, Akop, Acosta, Acosta Alba, Adyong, Advincula, Agabas, Agrao, Aglipay, Aguinaldo, Albano, Almario, Alonte, Alvarez France, Alvarez Hinaro, Alvarez Pantaleon, Amanti Matba, Amatong, Andaya, Angara, Aragones, Arbison, Arenas, Arroyo, Atienza, Aumentado, Babasa, Bagatsing, Balindong, Banyas, Nograles, Barba, Barbers, Baronda, Barzaga, Baskog, Bautista, Bautista Bandigan, Belmonte, Benitez, Bernos, Biazon, Billones, Biron, Bolilla, Bondok, Bordado, Bravo, Rosas, Bulot, Bustos, Kabatbat, Kabutsan, Cabredo, Cagas, Calderon, Calixto, Caminero, Campus, Canama, Kawagdan, Cari, Castelo, Castro France, Castro Predinil, Cayetano Alan Peter Compañero, Cayetano Maria Larni, Celeste, Chato, Chipeco, Chungalao, Ko Angelica, Ko Elizalde, Ko Juanco, Colliantes, Crisólogo, Cuba, Cuaresma, Cueva, Culyamat, Dagook, Dalipe, Dalog, Datol, Daza, De Jesus, De Venecia, Defensor Lawrence, Defensor Michael, Del Mar, De Los Santos, De Los Montalia, Dimapuro Abdullah, Dimapuro Muhammad Khalid, Duabit, Duhali, Duterte, Di Faustino Ino, Di Faustino Michael, Di Ian Paul, Ebcas, Ecleo, Ilago, Inverga, Irize, Irigel, Ermita Buhoain, Escudero, Espina, Espino, Estrella, Pariñas Ria Cristina, Pariñas Rudis Cesar, Fernandez, Fernando, Ferrer Juliet Marie, Ferrer Luis, Flores, Fortun, Fortuno, Frasco, Fuentevilla, Gaite, Garbin, Garcia Jose Enrique, Garcia Pablo Chan, Garcia Vincent, Garin Janet, Garin Sharon, Gasataya, Gatchalian, Gato, Heron, Go Ed Christopher, Go Mark, Gonzaga, Gonzales Arroyo Dong, Gonzales Neftali, Gonzales Carlo, Goroseta, Gico, Gulias, Guya, Haresco, Hataman, Hernandez, Herrera D, Hofer, Haloshos, Javier, Jimenez, Ko Elisa, Ko Wilton, Kong Hun, Labad-Labad, Lakson, Lakson Noel, Lagman, Lagun, Lara, Lazatin, Liatchon, Ligarda, Lim, Lim Kai Chong, Lopez, Loyola, Losotan, Macapagalaroyo, Maceda, Madrona, Malapitan, Mangawang, Mangudadatu, Marcoleta, Mariano Hernandez, Mariño, Marquez, Martinez, Matba, Matugas, Mendoza, Mercado, Momo, Natividad Nagaño, Noel, Nograles Jericho, Nograles Juan Fidel, Nolasco, Núñez Malañaon, Uaminal, Olivares, Ong Jose, Ong Ronnie, Ortega, Uaño Dizon, Pacquiao Alberto, Pacquiao Rogelio, Padiernos, Paduano, Palma, Pancho, Panotes, Peña, Ichay, Pimentel, Pineda, Plaza, Puno, Kimbo, Radasa, Ramirez Sato, Ramos, Remulla, Revilla, Reyes, Rivera, Robes, Rodríguez, Román, Romero, Romualdez Ferdinand, Romualdez Yedamarí, Romualdo, Rómulo, Roque, Sakdalan, Sagarbaria, Sakaluran, Salceda, Salimbangon, Salo, Sanchez, Sancopan, Santos Recto, Sarmiento, Saulog, Zavellano, Xiao, Silverio, Singson, Singson Mihan, Sensuat, Swansing Estrelleta, Swansing Horacio, Suarez Aleta, Suarez David, Suntay, Si Alvarado, Taduran, Talyado, Tambunting, Tan Eliza, Tan Angelina, Tan Shamir, Tan Shari, Tan Sherny, Pijada, Teves Arnolfo, Teves Jose, Chanco, Tolentino, Torres Gomez, Tulfo, T. Alan, T. Diego, Umali Alfonso, Umali Maria Victoria, Unabia, Ungab, Uy Juliet, Uy Rolando, Valeriano, Valmayor, Vargas, Vargas Alfonso, Velasco, Veloso, Vergara, Villa, Villafuerte, Villanueva, Eduardo Brother Eddie, Villanueva, Noel, Villar, Villaraz Suárez, Villarica, Biolago, Yap Eric, Yap Victor, Yu, Zamora Ronaldo, Zamora Waikurat, Sarate, Subiri.
May dagdag pa, oh. Ako, Didi.
Mr. Speaker, the roll call shows that 18 members responded to the call.
There being 218 members present, including those who are deemed present in accordance with our rules, those attending committee on appointments meetings at 9, those attending committee meetings as authorized by the Committee on Rules 10, those on official business 13. The chair declares the presence of a quorum. Majority
Mr.
Leader.
Speaker, just to clarify the records, what's the total of those outside of the hall today as compared to the 178 we have counted? 218? So therefore, 40, is that right? Are outside of the hall?
The number of members who are not currently present but are considered present, the number is 32.
32. So we have been overestimating ourselves. 32 are outside of the hall. And if you add that to the 170 plus who are in the hall, you have 218. We just would like to remind the Secretariat, for purposes of consistency and integrity, that when a vote is called for by the Majority Leader, we do not count the 32 who are not inside the hall. With that, Mr. Speaker, we assure the body that our intention is to have an upright, credible, and legal procedure in the House so that nobody can question our decisions later on. If we are not accurate and figures do not match with affidavits written by those tasked to guard the count, we would be in a very serious predicament. Kaya ang hinihiling ko po, pag magbobotohan, huwag niyong bilangin yung wala sa hall sapagkat hindi po tayo dapat pumayag sa ganong klaseng paraan. Kung tayo'y papayag, bigyan na lang natin sa Secretariat ang desisyon to approve and disapprove. Because they can always make up a figure that could remain unquestioned later on. So the time to question any count, any votes numbered by the Secretariat should be immediately after they announce it. We do not intend to interrupt anyone, but we would do that as long as we do not see counts being done in accordance with the rules. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Majority Leader.
We note, Mr. Speaker, we note the sentiments of the Honorable Atienza, and of course we are in unison with him. But of course we want to keep the credibility of the House, especially when we vote, Mr. Speaker. That's why I'm most confident that the Secretariat will not do their so-called dagdag bawas. And if they do, it will affect all of us. So, Mr. Speaker, with that, we'd like to proceed the election of some of the memberships of our committees. I so move, Mr. Speaker.
Please proceed.
Mr. Speaker, in behalf of the majority, I move to nominate and elect the following members. To the Committee on Peace, Reconciliation, and Unity, as Chairperson, Congressman Esmael Mangudadatu. As Vice Chairperson, Congresswoman Maria Feabunda, Congressman J.B. Bernos, and Congressman Rashidin Matba. And as members, Congressman Solomon Chungalao, Congressman Ansarudin Adiong, Congressman Noli Celeste, Congressman Sammy Ertan, Congressman Munir Arbison, Congresswoman Geraldine Roman, Congressman Adriano Ebcas, and Congressman Presley De Jesus. For the Special Committee on Southern Tagalog Development, as Chairperson, Congresswoman Eileen Ermita Buhain, As Vice Chairpersons, Congressman John Luis Ferrer IV, Congresswoman Ruth Hernandez, and Congressman Marvy Marino. And as members, Congressman Sol Aragones, Congressman June Chipeco, Congressman J.J. Suarez, Congresswoman Helen Tan, Congressman Jack Duavit, Congresswoman Dalia Loyola, Congresswoman Aleta Suarez, and Congressman Fidel Nograles.
As chairperson of the Committee on Muslim Affairs, Congressman Ansuruddin Adjong. As vice chairpersons of the Committee on Muslim Affairs, Congressman Yasser Balindong, Congressman Datu Ronnie Sinsuat, and Congresswoman Amihilda Sangkopan. As members of the Committee on Muslim Affairs, Congressman Khalid Dimaporo, Congressman Ismael Mangundadatu, Congressman Munir Arbison, Congressman Abdullah Dimaporo, Congresswoman Bai Rihan Sakaluran, Congressman Rishidin Matba, and Congresswoman Shirney Tan Tambut. So moved, Mr. Speaker.
Is there any objection? The chair hears none. Motion is approved, and the aforementioned members are so elected. Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I move with the assumed consideration of House Bill number 6134 and recognize the Honorable Kua and the Honorable Atienza to continue the interpellation. I so move, Mr. Speaker.
The Honorable Atienza and the Honorable Kua are recognized.
Mr. Speaker, again, we are reiterating our admiration for the gentleman sponsor and his well-intentioned piece of legislation. We support it. I will vote for it. We know that the intentions are very, very much needed by the sectors pinpointed, agricultural and fisheries. Mahirap po ang kalagayan. Pero hindi po natin masasabi na ang mga malalaking korporasyon ng mga mangingisda ay naghihirap. Ang naghihirap po, yung mangingisda. Hindi po natin masasabi na yung mga nagnenegosyo ng bigas ay naghihirap. Ang naghihirap po ay yung magsasaka. Kaya ang tanong ko po kanina, wala po ba tayong pwedeng ilagay na mekanismo rito na yung salapi na ating inuutos, ilagay ng mga bangko ang 25% ng inyong puhunan para sa mga maliliit na mangingisda at mga magsasaka. Dahil kung sasabihin natin, kailangan lahat sila dumaan sa malaking organisasyon, ang makikinabang na naman po, yung malalaki, ang maiipit ay yung maliliit. So that worries me, Mr. Speaker, and I'd like to ask the sponsor if he's willing in the period of amendments to include certain provisions that would guarantee that the money flows to the small farmer and the fisherman and not remaining in the hands of moneyed class. Marami pong mga yumayaman sa agrikultura. Marami rin pong yumayaman sa pangingisda. Ang naiiwan po yung mga pangkaraniwang Pilipino. Yun ang palagay ko dapat nating tignan sa magandang batas na ito na hindi naman natin pwedeng ulit-ulitin. Pinag-uusapan natin ngayon, I'd like to get the cooperation of the gentleman sponsor at the right time to put a provision that will guarantee what we have said.
Mr. Speaker, Your Honor, I fully appreciate the intent of the gentleman from Buhay Party List. If I may bring to our attention the sad reality today, even with the passage of Republic Act 10,000, what is actually happening is exactly what the gentleman is saying. that we have passed a law obliging the banks to lend to agricultural sector. Unfortunately, the ones who are benefiting from this legislation are in fact the big ones. Companies that really do not need the law are some of the ones benefiting from it. In other words, this is exactly what we are trying to address in this bill. We want to make sure that this time around, what he fears, what the gentleman fears, will no longer happen. And we have put in place certain provisions in this bill that will help achieve that. If you will note, one of the provisions that we have put in place here is that as an alternative compliance, included are agribusiness companies. These are actually the big companies that the gentleman must be talking about today. They are the big ones that are benefiting from the law. But we have put a colatilla there that when banks lend to big companies engaged in agribusiness, it must somehow be connected to a commodity supply arrangement that will benefit the small farmers and the small fisher folks. So that is one. That is one. But I think in the heart of this problem of how do we ensure that this time around, these billions, in fact trillions of pesos, set aside for agricultural sector will really trickle down to the small guys. And we have laid down the formula. And we sincerely believe that from our intensive study of the situation, I would like to impress upon our colleagues that this bill is a bill that went through a long study. This study started from the time I was elected to the chairmanship of the committee. Early on in this first session of Congress. And it took us months of interviews, consultations, to find out what is the sense of the small farmers on how they can be able to really access. And this is what gelled out in our consultation. So they strongly recommend that some kind of groupings, clustering, organizing should be made so that they can be capacitated and the cooperatives not only organize but to ensure that it is professionally managed. Because it is sad to note that over decades, despite the existence of CDA, many co-ops have been organized only to find itself quarreling among each other when it succeeds already. So, in other words, there is a need to reorient the mindset of the leadership of the co-ops. Ensure that they are professionalized, properly motivated by incentives, so that they become good vehicles to ensure the welfare of their members. And we always say that unless we have economy of scale, it is difficult really to achieve profit. Napakahirap maging kapaki-pakinabang kung nag-iisa ang isang magsasaka o ang isang mangingisda. Kinakailangan niyang magkaroon ng isang samahan na talagang tunay na pangangalagaan ng kanilang common interest. And we hope that this happens. Of course, we are not guaranteeing the success of this attempt, but I think we have laid down the framework, the structure of what can be done by providing the structure, the people, and the money, most especially. This organizational effort, professionalization effort will require billions of pesos. And we have somehow came up with a way that this money is made available without taxing, without introducing another tax measure. So that's my response, Mr. Speaker, to the very nice question of the gentleman from Buhay Party List.
Mr. Speaker, narinig po natin ang magandang paraan at layunin ng may akda ng panukalang batas. Iliwanagin ko.
So assuming the expenses per hectare is 15,000 per hectare, so that is equivalent to that area. Mr. Speaker, Mr. Chairman, and Mr. Sponsor, sangayon ka ba dun sa ayuda na binigay ng ating gobyerno noong nalugi sa presyo ng bigas ang ating mga farmer? Sangayon ka ba sa pagbigay ng cash incentive sa ating mga farmer, Mr. Speaker?
Mr. Speaker, Your Honor, gusto ko lang pong liwanagin na itong 10 billion na ating i-raise na initial fund nitong programa na ito po ay hindi ipapautang. Hindi rin po ito ibibigay. Kundi ito po ay gagamitin para sa capacity building. At yung ipapautang sa mga magsasaka, either individually or through their association, whether co-ops, whether association or cluster or groups, etc., kung sila ay uutang, hindi dito sa fondo na special fund. Doon sila papautangin, doon sa nakaset aside ng industry, ng banking industry, na 25%. At yung pautang sa kanila ay magiging compliance ng mga bangko. So ganun po ang mekanismo noon, kagalang-galang na Deputy Speaker, para lang sa kaliwanagan ng ating pag-unawa sa ating programa. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Salamat, Mr. Speaker. Maganda po yun. At ako, bilang isang mahilig din sa farming at yan ang hanap buhay natin, meron kasi akong plano, Mr. Speaker. I don't know, Mr. Sponsor, my proposal is hindi ko papautagin yung farmers. But you can think of this, Mr. Speaker. Pwede ko pong maitanong sa kagalang-galang na naging gobernador ng Quirino kung ilan po yung total agricultural land ng Quirino so that we can make a pilot on that area. how many square kilometer of sugar or agricultural land do you have, Mr.
Well,
Speaker?
Mr. Speaker, as far as my knowledge is concerned, Quirino is a relatively small community, but it is truly a farming community. But ang aming arable land ay maliit lamang po. Kung di ako nagkakamali, it is between 50 to 60,000 hectares lang po.
Ilan po?
50 to 60,000 hectares. So, if on the average, a household deals about a hectare, we're talking about 50 to 60,000 households.
Ano po ang cropping nito? Palay at saka corn?
Tayo po ay dominantly mais, corn.
Corn.
Yes, dominantly corn.
Yung rice po, mga palay, wala po kayong tinatanim sa inyong probinsya?
Total po yung aking sinabi, that could include rice and corn.
So that is a two cropping, Mr. Speaker. That is two cropping.
Ang rice namin siguro out of 60 would be about 35,000 would be corn. So it's not really a
35,000.
big. It's not really a big community, but it's essentially a farming community.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I have a proposal, Mr. Speaker, from number 1, yung pag-cultivate pa lang ng land. Ano ang kailangan natin doon?
Mr. Speaker, Your Honor, yung pong detalye tungkol sa farming activities, yan po ay hindi nating isinama dito sa batas sapagkat yung mga detalye po nito will happen at the implementation stage. And necessary details that need to be spelled out when the law gets to be enforced and implemented will be guided by the implementing rules and regulations. So I seek the indulgence of my colleague that at this point in time, it's difficult for us to come up with those figures, which I also appreciate that at the proper time it is important and necessary.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I fully understand what is your proposal. I think in my proposal kasi po, maganda po yung kung makapag-raise tayo ng 10 billion. Ako kasi sa aking experience, sa aking pag-aaral, kailangan po yung mga farmer natin, meron naman tayong tinatawag na Cooperative Development Authority, yung CDA. They can manage the money, they can manage the harvest of each farmer. Para at least, that is a listed CDA. Listed po yung mga farmers natin doon. Ako po, pwede natin pong isama to sa batas nyo. I have also to file this proposed resolution or House Bill para makatulong po tayo sa ating mga farmers. Number 1, itulungan po natin sila na dagdagan nila yung kanilang heavy equipments. Like for example, yung heavy tractor. Like in my district, sa 3rd District ng Pampanga po kasi yan, we have almost 20,000 hectares of land tilting by farmers. And there are 3 kinds of them. Number 1, the landowner. Number 2, the farmer. Number 3, the tenants. Yung tenants, nagre-renta po yan sa landowner. Kaya pagdating po ng panahon, pag mag-harvest na po yan, 50-50 po yung laban. So kung halimbawa, Sa 1 hektarya, kumita ka ng 30,000, ati tayo, tig 15,000 tayo. Number 2, kung ikaw mismo ang may-ari ng lupa at ikaw pa rin ang, yan tinatawag na personal farmer, na alimbawa, ikaw pa rin ang magtitilt, ikaw pa rin ang gagawa lahat ng trabaho, yan, pumapasok. Wala akong puhunan. Number 1, saan ako kukuha ng pambayad ng renta ng equipment? You have to cultivate the land first. Magkano po yun? Nangangailangan ka ng 500 pesos per hectare or 1,000 to 1,000. Number 2, nangangailangan ka ng hand tractor. Hindi meaning to say na cultivate mo na yun, na four-wheel tractor na yun, kailangan mo pa rin ibaligtarin yung lupa. Pangatlo, yun ang pagbunot ng punla. Yung punla, yun po yung seedlings. Yung pagbunot na yun ang dadalhin natin. Pag expenses po yun, yung seedlings, another bibilihin po ng isang magsasaka yun. In my mind, and in my experience, and women, nandun po si Secretary Dar, nag-usap po kami sandali, na sinabi ko na naman po yung aking proposal kay Secretary Dar. And he is very willing to cooperate to me and to our farmers. So, ang gagawin po namin ay ganito. The computation, we need only 240 million. Nandiyan na yung heavy tractor, nandiyan na yung hand tractor, nandiyan na yung nagtatanim na mano-mano. Kasi po, iba yung harvest natin pag nagmano-mano tayo nagtatanim. Pag ang pagtanim natin, yung tinatawag na salbag, yung ibubuhos mo lang yung palay, ikakalat mo yung palay sa lupa, yun po, maliit yung harvest natin doon. Unlike sa mano-mano talagang pagtanim. Pangalawa, yung pagtanim, gagamit ka lang 18 persons per hectare. That is 470 pesos bawat isang magtatanim. Sa 1 hektarya, you need 8,460 pesos para magbayad ka sa pagtanim lang. Ngayon, nandito na tayo. Nakatanim na yung palay, you need again fertilizer. Yung fertilizer, mangangailangan ka ng fertilizer ng 5 bags per hectare. Magkano yung 5 bags per hectare? 1,050. That is 5,250 sa 1 hektarya, sir. Ngayon, sinabi ko 8,000. Kanina, 8,000 ba yun? Ngayon, 5,000. So, 13,000 na po yung gastos nun. Magse-second apply ka ng fertilizer. That is, again, you need 5 bags of fertilizer hanggang sa magpapatubig na tayo. Yung magpapatubig na tayo, yan ang tinatawag nating communal irrigation system. Kaya nga pag budget hearing natin, ano ang gusto natin sa NIA? Ano ang gusto natin sa DA? Ito po ang dalawang ito. Farm inputs at saka CIS, yung communal irrigation system. Kung mayroon tayong magandang patubig, hindi na tayo bibili ng fuel. Hindi na tayo bibili ng diesel para kargahan yung mga makina natin. Kaya nga ito yung sinasabi ko kay Administrator Bisaya na palakasin, ayusin yung mga communal irrigation system natin. E di, may patubig na tayo. Pagkatapos ng patubig natin, ito na papasok. Ito po ang kailangan natin. Harvester, yung harvester na yon, nakaka-harvest ng 12 kaban per howling. Ibig sabihin, yung 12 kaban na yan, nangangailangan tayo ng harvester. Pag na-harvest na yan, meron tayong combine harvester, siyempre, basa pa yung palay. Mr. Speaker, Mr. Sponsor, para at least may idea lang kayo. Yung palay na yon, yung moisture content ng palay, 40% assuming, hindi nila bibilhin, nasa buriki na yan, nasa kaban na yan, nasa sako na yan, pagdadating yung trader, o sige, bibilin ko yan ng 11 pesos. Magkano yung kapital ng farmer? Ang kapital ng farmer, yung sinabi ko sa iyo kanina, is less than 15 pesos na po. Paano ka pakikita? Kung ako isang farmer, hindi ka na talaga kikita. Paano pa yung interest na kinuha ko ng 20,000 dun sa kapitalista? Yun po yung sinasabi ko. Pero kung ibibigay natin sa farmer lahat na to, hindi po niya kailangan mangutang. May 10 billion ka, mayroon tayong modernization sa farming, palagay po malaking tulong sa ating mga farmers ito. Next po, kung gusto mong ibudega muna yung palay mo, basa, gusto mong itaas yung presyo, paano? Bibili ng NFA na mataas yung palay natin kung dry na yung palay natin. Ang NFA, alam niya yan, pag dry na yung palay natin, saan anong gagawin natin? Ang ginagawa natin, mayroon bypass road dyan, mayroong farm to market road dyan, yan ang gagawin nating solar dryer. So yan ang sinasabi ko po na kailangan natin sa Department of Agriculture yung sinasabi ni Congressman Atienza na farm to market road. Yung farm to market road, kailangan natin i-transport yung palay para makadating dun saan man na bodega na dadalhin yung ating palay. So yan po, yung farm to market road, kailangan po yan. At susunod po, yung ating mechanical dryer. Kung wala pa po tayong farm to market road, kailangan po natin ng mechanical dryer. Yung mechanical dryer na yon, with blower na po yun. Pag may mechanical dryer na po tayo, yan, yung moisture content bumababa, magiging 100% na yung pagkatuyo ng ating palay. Yung pagkatuyo ng ating palay, totally dry na yan. So ang NFA ngayon, bibili niya ng 20 to 21 pesos per kilo. So doble po. 11 pesos, assuming, sa experience ko po, 11.30 na ibenta ko yung akin. 11.30, kasi mayroong akong kasama. 11.30, kung bibilhin ng 20 pesos ng NFA, doble po yun. 1 piso bawat kilo, napaka-importante po niyan sa bawat magsasaka. So, Mr. Speaker, my dear Congressman Kuwa, alam ko, mataas ang respeto ko sa aking kapwa mambabatas, nakasama ko ng 14th Congress, nakasama ko yung anak niya si Governor Kuwa ngayon, talagang masipag na kongresista. Sana po, pagtulungan natin ito, ano? Maganda po to. This modernization rice farming techniques for our farmers. Nag-usap po kami kagabi ni Secretary Dar, gagawa po tayo ng pilot. Sabi ko nga sa kanya, may entitlement. Huwag mo ako bigyan ng kahit ano. Magpapatayo tayo ng isang maliit na rice center, nandyan na yung low bed mo, pangakot ng bigas o palay, nandyan na yung mga 4-wheel tractor mo, nandyan na yung mechanical dryer mo, nandyan na lahat po. So yun po, we need only 200 to 240 million to acquire all these equipment for our farmers. So sana po, Mr. Speaker, Congressman Kuwa, si Chairman, sana po, this is only a manifestation to your resolution. If we can combine this, maganda po yan, may kapital na tayong 10 billion, at mayroon pa tayong modernization sa ating mga farmers. So on that note, Mr. Speaker, maraming salamat sa aking kapwa mamabata. Salamat, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. First of all, allow me to express my thanks to the Deputy Speaker Dong Gonzales. All of the things that he said are really well taken. His vision and his plan for modernized agriculture is really one thing that we should all aspire. And I think it's a very laudable aspiration. And I think if we do this, if we implement this bill well enough, we might see the day that we will be able to achieve what he is envisioning. Because this bill will finally provide the mechanism, a mechanism to finance his dreams and a mechanism to capacitate the organization that will implement his dreams. So on that note, Mr. Speaker, I'd like to once more, in behalf of the Committee on Banks, express our deepest appreciation to Congressman Dong for his interpellation, certainly very enriching, certainly will help us in finalizing this legislation. Thank you so much, Mr. Speaker.
Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I move to suspend consideration of House Bill 6134. So move, Mr. Speaker.
Is there any objection? The chair hears none. Motion is approved.
Mr. Speaker, on behalf of the majority, I move to elect and nominate the following members. To the Committee on Constitutional Amendments, Congressman Manuel Sagarbarria as member. To the Committee on Public Accounts, Congressman George Bustos of the Patrol Party List as member. And the Committee on Transportation, Congressman Angelo Marcos Barba as member. So move, Mr. Speaker.
Is there any objection? The chair hears none. Motion is approved, and the aforementioned members are so elected.
Mr. Speaker, before we continue, may we acknowledge the presence of the guests of TUCP Representative Congressman Raymond Mendoza. We have with us Ms. Josephine J. Francisco, the Director of JMG and FAME, or Filipino Association of Maritime Employment. Mr. Jose Albar Cato, the Director of JMG and Vice President for Internal Affairs of FAME. Mr. Erickson Marquez, Vice Chairman, External Affairs of JMG. Mr. Marlon R. Ronyo, Director of JMG and of FAME, and Executive Chairman of Magsaysay Maritime Corporation.
The House of Representatives welcomes the guests of the Honorable Mendoza. Thank you for your visit. Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I move we take up House Bill number 6123 and direct the Secretary General to read the title of the bill. I so move, Mr. Speaker.
Is there any objection? The chair hears none. Motion is approved, and the Secretary General is directed to read the title of House Bill 6123.
House Bill number 6123, an act defining the offenses of discharge of firearms and the indiscriminate firing of firearms, and providing stiffer penalties therefore, amending for the purpose Article 254 of Act number 3815 as amended, otherwise known as the Revised Penal Code, and Republic Act 10591, otherwise known as the Comprehensive Firearms Ammunition Regulation Act.
Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I move we recognize the Honorable Bravo, Chairman, Committee on Public Order and Safety, for his sponsored speech of House Bill number 6123. I so move, Mr. Speaker.
Mr. Speaker, Congressman Bravo is recognized.
Mr. Speaker, my distinguished colleagues, ladies and gentlemen, a pleasant afternoon. It is my honor and privilege to sponsor Committee Report number 209 on House Bill number 6123 entitled An Act Defining the Offenses of Discharge of Firearms and Indiscriminate Firing of Firearms, and providing stiffer penalties therefore, amending for the purpose Article 254 of the Revised Penal Code and Republic Act Number 10591, otherwise known as the Comprehensive Firearms and Ammunition Regulation Act. This bill basically seeks to deter the irresponsible use of firearms. The first offense, the discharge of firearms under Article 254 of the Revised Penal Code, seeks to impose the stiffer penalty of prison correctional in its maximum period on any person who shall discharge a firearm at another person with no intention to kill or injure that person, if the offense is committed by a member of any law enforcement agency authorized to bear arms, the penalty to be imposed shall be 1 degree higher. The second offense is the one often committed during New Year's Eve celebrations, where many people are hurt or killed from stray bullets. The bill seeks to impose the penalty of prisión mayor in its medium period on any person who shall discharge or shoot any firearm without lawful authority or in random, aimless, purposeless, or indiscriminate manner. If the indiscriminate firing of firearms results in injury to a person or damage to property, the resulting crime shall be considered as distinct and separate offenses. If the indiscriminate firing results in the death of a victim, then the penalty of reclusion temporal shall be imposed. Likewise, the penalty 1 degree higher shall be imposed upon the offender if he or she is a member of a law enforcement agency authorized by law to bear arms. In addition to the penalties imposed, any firearm license or permit issued in favor of the offender shall be summarily canceled and the offender perpetually disqualified from being granted any firearm license. This proposed measure reiterates the call for the responsible use of firearms and sends a signal that it is never acceptable to use firearms as part of any celebration due to the numerous deaths and injuries caused by the stray bullets. In 2019, the PNP reported stray bullet incidents during the Christmas and New Year holidays and arrested 21 persons for the legal discharge of firearms. Of the 21 arrested, 14 were civilians, 1 from PNP, 2 from the AFP, 1 Kafgu militiaman, and 3 security guards. Mr. Speaker, this bill was approved by the House on third reading in the 17th Congress, but was not acted upon by the Senate, unfortunately. I now earnestly submit House Bill number 6123 to this august body for its consideration and approval. Thank you.
Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I move to recognize the Honorable Gaite to interpolate the Honorable Bravo. I so move, Mr. Speaker.
The Honorable Ferdinand Gaite is recognized.
Maraming salamat po, Mr. Chair. Pahintulutan ba ng ating sponsor sa panukalang batas na ilabas sa ilalim ng Committee Report number 209 para maglinaw sa ilang katanungan sa panukalang batas?
Ikinagagalak po ng kinatawang ito.
Maraming salamat po. Totoo po na nakakabahala yung sitwasyon na may mga nagaganap na indiscriminate na discharge ng firearms na nagdudulot ng kamatayan tulad o ibang pinsala tulad na nabanggit ng ating kagalang-galang na sponsor. Gusto lang nang maglinaw hinggil sa binabanggit na discharge of firearms. Doon sa ikalawang pahina, Section 2, sa pag-define kung ano yung sinasabing Comprehensive Firearms and Ammunition Regulation Act. binabanggit dito po yung sa line number 10 sa page 2 sa section 41-A. At pahintulutan niyo po kung basahin. Nakalagay po, indiscriminate firing of firearm, definition and penalties. Any person who shall discharge or shoot any firearm or any device without lawful authority or in random, aimless, purposeless, or indiscriminate manner shall suffer the penalty of prisión mayor in its medium period. Mr. Chair, Mr. Sponsor, pwede ho bang ilinaw, ano ho pag pinaliwanag natin any person who shall discharge or shoot any firearm or any device? Hindi ho ba, paano ba natin paliliwanag kung yung sinasabing firearm or yung any device ay medyo vague ang pagpapaliwanag. Kasi po ngayon, pumunta po kayo sa Divisoria at iba pang lugar, may makikita po kayong mga mukhang baril na mga laruan ng mga bata that actually shoots projectiles, no? May mga naglalaro nung mga iba't ibang yung paintball na sistemang pambabaril na hindi naman nakakamatay pero nakaka-damage din. Meron nabubulag sa ganitong uri ng mga gamit. Saklaw ho ba, Mr. Chair, yung ganitong uri ng mga binabanggit na any device dahil posible na baka kahit itong mga naglalaro mga bata na gumagamit ng similar na gamit ay mapatawan ng ganitong uri ng penalty. Pwede ho ba maklarify ang kinatawang ito sa bahagi, sa section na ito, Mr. Chair, Mr. Sponsor?
First of all, yung any device was suggested by the Department of Justice. Kasi marami na po talagang lumalabas na mga improvised mga items na yung function ay parang firearms na. Ngayon, delikado yung mga improvised na ito, pareho din lang ng mga regular firearms na nabibili po natin sa mga gun store, na kung pumutok, pwedeng mag-cause ng injury or damage to property. Yun po ang nasasaklaw ng definition ng any device na po ito, na binabanggit po dito sa provision nito. So, wala pong ma-identify sa ngayon kung ano talaga dahil hindi natin pwede pong mapangalanan. Sa amin lang, doon sa aming probinsya, ang dami pong mga term na ginagamit. Like sumpa, kung ano-ano. But I think this is the items or equipments that is being considered by the DOJ in suggesting that this should be included in this particular measure, Your Honor.
Salamat po sa kasagutan, Mr. Speaker, Mr. Sponsor. Dahil yun lang yung isang concern na pag sinabi nating any device, ay baka masyadong broad yung pagbanggit na maaring nabanggit nyo po, no, yung magagamit na homemade na mga gamit na ang objective ay lumika ng harm sa ating mga mamamayan, tulad na nabanggit yung sumpak. At sa totoo lamang po, nabanggit ko na rin yung mga ibang parang similar weapons na laruan naman ang kategorya niya, pero nagkukos rin ng harm. Baka yung sinasabing natin ang any device, masyadong overbroad na kahit yung mga ordinaryong mamamayan na wala naman talagang layunin para manakit, pero baka mapatawan ng ditong mabigat na penalty. Na wag po kayo magkakamali, kami po ay sumasang-ayon na dapat talagang patawan ng mas mabigat na penalty, no? Pero ang fear lang po ng kinatawang ito ay dapat po siguro magkaroon tayo ng malinaw na definition para hindi ho naman mapatawan ng ganitong penalty yung hindi naman ang totoong layunin ay hindi para lumikha ng harm sa ating mga kapwa mamamayan. So yun lang po yung aming
Meron po tayo, Mr. Speaker, Honorable colleague, meron po tayong provision dito in line 5 of section 1 for the purpose of this act. The term device refers to anything that may not have been designed as a firearm but can functionally adopted and used as a firearm. So parang maliwanag din po yun. Na parang yung kumbaga pareho din lang, nagkaiba lang ng itsura, hindi lang kilala.
Okay. So maraming salamat sa paglilinaw sapagkat totoo na sa kalagayan ngayon na naglipa na ang iba't ibang uri ng baril at gamit na tawag po natin firearms. Napakahalaga na maprotektahan natin ang ating mga mamamayan sa nagaganap na ito. Hindi lang po, di ba po, tulad sa mga nagaganap every New Year, may mga indiscriminate firing. At marami ho nagiging biktima nito. At tama po na aralin na maigi kung paano natin maiiwasan o di kaya mapapahinto na sa pamamagitan ng pagtataas ng kaukulang penalties. Maraming salamat po, Mr. Speaker. Maraming salamat, Mr. Sponsor.
Thank you, Honorable colleague.
Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, there being no other member who wishes to interpolate the sponsor, I move that we close the period of sponsorship and debate.
Is there any objection? The chair is none. Motion is approved. Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I move that we open the period of amendments.
Is there any objection? The chair is none. Motion is approved. Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, there being no committee or individual amendments, I move that we close the period of amendments.
Is there any objection? The chair is none. Motion is approved. Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, just a minute suspension.
Session suspended. Majority Leader. Session resumed. Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I move that we suspend consideration on House Bill number 6123.
Is there any objection? The chair is none. Motion is approved. Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I move that we consider on second reading House Bill number 6312 as contained in Committee Report number 232 and that the Secretary General be directed to read the title of the measure.
Is there any objection? The chair is none. The Secretary General is now directed to read the bill. Title of the bill.
House Bill number 6312, an act establishing the National Academy of Sports System and appropriating funds therefore.
Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I move that we open the period of sponsorship and debate and recognize the chairman of the Committee on Basic Education and Culture, the Honorable Roman Romulo, for his sponsorship speech.
Gentleman from Pasig, Congressman Roman Romulo is recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, distinguished Majority Leader, and distinguished members of this August Chamber. This afternoon, together with the Committee on Youth and Sports, we have the honor of presenting for consideration of the members of this August body, House Bill number 6312, the National Academy of Sports System Act. Under this House Bill or substitute bill, we aim to provide Filipino athletes, young Filipino athletes, with the opportunity to enhance their athletic skills and talents in a specialized school that would serve as the premier training institution and future world-class Filipino athletes and sports heroes. To develop the full athletic potential of students in an institution which likewise will provide good quality education. Mr. Speaker, honorable members of this August Chamber, we hope that we have the full support of the plenary after the SEA Games success we have many of our young students who really wish to hone and enhance their talent in sports. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, Majority Leader. And before we proceed, Mr. Speaker, may we also ask that the Chairman of the Committee of Youth and Sports Development, the Honorable Chairman Eric Martinez, also sponsor this measure.
Honorable Kobe Bryant of Valenzuela. Eric Martinez is recognized. Congressman Martinez.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, the Majority Floor Leader. Good afternoon. Professor Charles Francis Xavier, more popularly known as Professor X, is a fictional character appearing in American comic books published by Marvel Comics. Professor X is depicted as the founder and leader of the X-Men. Professor X is an exceptionally powerful telepath who can read and control the minds of others to both shelter and train mutants from around the world. He runs a private school in the X Mansion in Salem Center in New York. Mr. Speaker, it is my honor and privilege to stand before you today to sponsor what I fondly call the X-Men Act, the National Academy of Sports System Act under Committee Report number 232, which was mentioned during the fourth son of the President as one of his priority measures. The overriding objective of the said proposal is to provide young Filipino athletes with the opportunity to enhance their skills and talents in a specialized school that would serve as the premier training institution of future world-class Filipino athletes and sports heroes. Likewise, the measure seeks to develop the full athletic potential of students in an institution which likewise provides good quality education. We need to produce the next Carlos Yulo, the next EJ Obiena, and the next Heidelin Diaz. All are Olympic qualifiers and future world-class athletes. With this bill, the X-Men, we gather all the best talents, best sporting talents all around our country and train them in one facility. For in the future, we would produce world-class and Olympic champions. Mr. Speaker, distinguished colleagues, I therefore call on our colleagues in this chamber to approve House Bill 6312 under Committee Report number 232, the X-Men Act, and hopefully we produce the next Kobe Bryant. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Thank you, Majority Floor Leader.
Thank you, Congressman Martinez. Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, there being no member who wishes to interpolate our sponsors, I move that we close the period of sponsorship and debate.
Is there any objection? The chair is none. Motion is approved. Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I move that we open the period of amendments.
Is there any objection? The chair is none. Motion is approved. Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, there being no committee or individual amendments, I move that we close the period of amendments.
Is there any objection? The chair is none. Motion is approved. Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I move that we approve on second reading House Bill number 6312.
There is a motion to approve House Bill number 61.
6312.
House Bill number 6312 on second reading. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All those against, please say nay. The ayes have it. House Bill number 6319 is now approved on second reading. House Bill 6312 is hereby approved on second reading. Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I move that we now consider on second reading House Bill number 5912 under Committee Report 187 and that the Secretary General be directed to read the title of the bill.
The Secretary General is now hereby directed to read the title of the bill.
House Bill number 5912, an act declaring July 27 of every year a special non-working holiday, amending for the purpose Republic Act 9645, otherwise known as the commemoration of the founding anniversary of Iglesia ni Cristo Act.
Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I move that we open the period of sponsorship and debate and recognize the chairperson of the Committee on Revision of Laws, Representative Cheryl Deloso Montalia, for her sponsorship speech.
Cheryl Deloso Montalia is recognized.
Good afternoon, Mr. Speaker, the honorable members of the House of Representatives. It is my honor to sponsor House Bill number 5912, an act declaring July 27 of every year a special national non-working holiday, amending for the purpose Republic Act number 9645, otherwise known as the commemoration of the founding anniversary of Iglesia ni Cristo Act. This measure proposes to declare July 27 of every year a special national non-working holiday in the Philippines. Holidays like Christmas Day, December 25, Monday, Thursday, Good Friday, and Eid al-Fitr, Feast of Ramadan, are religious in nature and the significance which our country recognizes and celebrate yearly. These holidays are celebrated not only for their religious meanings, but also in recognition of their contribution to our culture, national identity, values, norms, and mores, as well as their socio-cultural development impact to the life of the Filipino. Iglesia ni Cristo, or INC, with a membership of more than 5% of the country's population, is considered to be the third largest religious organization in the country, having around 4,800 local congregations and with members in around 100 countries. Officially registered in 1914, INC uses Filipino language in preaching the Word of God here and abroad, an initiative which provides a veritable environment for our language, not only to be preserved, but also to further flourish. In recent years, its civic engagements have expanded through bigger relief operations and charity dedicated to the poor and those affected by calamities. These endeavors are typically articulated in terms of unity, duty, and obedience to God. Despite its immeasurable contribution and participation in the social, historical, and cultural development of the country, the commemoration of INC's founding anniversary through Republic Act number 9645 remains to be a special national working holiday. As such, the law is lacking in providing the INC and its members the appropriate recognition and acknowledgement that they deserve to have a better chance to significantly celebrate their founding anniversary. This bill intends to make the commemoration of the Iglesia ni Cristo founding anniversary on July 27 of every year a non-working national holiday to allow its congregation nationwide to celebrate its founding anniversary with a deep sense of pride, and for the nation to recognize the immense and significant contributions of INC and its members to national building, national identity, culture, values, and development. Approval of this bill, Mr. Speaker, is earnestly sought as this bill has been approved on third reading and was transmitted to Senate during the 17th Congress. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I move to suspend consideration of House Bill 697, or rather,
Para next week, approval na lang siya.
Saan ba yun? Sana? Take this into consideration. Ito, no? Ito, no?
Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I move we resume consideration of House Bill number 5912. I so move, Mr. Speaker.
Is there any objection? The chair is done. The motion is approved. Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, there being no interpellators, I move we close the period of interpellation. I so move, Mr. Speaker.
Is there any objection? The chair is done. Motion is approved. Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I move we open the period of amendments.
Is there any objection? The chair is done. Motion is approved. Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, there being no individual and committee amendments, I move we close the period of amendments. I so move, Mr. Speaker.
Is there any objection? The chair is done. Motion is approved. Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I move that the House takes note that the Honorable Deputy Speaker, Aurelio Dong Gonzales, has signified his intention to be a principal co-author of this measure. I so move, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Mr. Majority Leader. Is there any objection? The chair is done. Motion is approved. Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, for the record, again, may I ask the Secretary General to read the title of the bill?
The Secretary General is directed to read the title of the bill.
House Bill Number 5912, an act declaring July 27 of every year a special national non-working holiday, amending for the purpose Republic Act Number 9645, otherwise known as the commemoration of the founding anniversary of Iglesia Ni Cristo Act.
Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I move we suspend consideration of House Bill Number 5912. I so move, Mr. Speaker.
Is there any objection? The chair is done. Motion is approved. Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I move we consider House Bill 5975 and direct the Secretary General to read the title of the bill. I so move, Mr. Speaker.
Is there any objection? The chair is done. Motion is approved. The Secretary General is directed to read the title of the bill.
House Bill Number 5975, an act declaring the fourth Thursday of November of every year as National Thanksgiving Day.
Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I move we recognize the Honorable Congressman Deloso for her sponsorship speech and interpellations and debates, period of debates. I so move, Mr. Speaker.
Congresswoman De Losa is recognized.
Good afternoon, Mr. Speaker. As a chairperson of the Committee on Revision of Laws, I rise this afternoon to sponsor House Bill Number 5975. This bill seeks to declare the fourth Thursday of November each year as the National Thanksgiving Day. It is our duty as a nation, regardless of the different religions we practice, to offer our supplications to the God we believe in. We must give thanks for the blessings that are continuously bestowed upon our people, the economic growth, the safety of our country, the promising state of public affairs, the administration's successful campaign for change, the infrastructure development, the lessening of national calamities, and our unity as a country. With the enactment of this bill, it is hoped that we nourish an attitude of gratefulness, leading to a united and prosperous nation. A similar version of this bill was filed during the 17th Congress. Therefore, support for this bill is earnestly sought. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Majority Leader. Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, Mr. Speaker,
Majority Leader.
there being no other member of the House who signified his intention to interpellate, I hereby move to close the period of interpellation. I so move, Mr. Speaker.
Is there any objection? The chair is done. Motion is approved. Majority Leader.
Amendments. Mr. Speaker, I move we open the period of amendments. I so move, Mr. Speaker.
Is there any objection? The chair is done. Motion is approved. Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, again, there being no other member of the lower house who signified this intention to introduce any amendments, committee or personal, individual amendments, I move that we close the period of amendments. I so move, Mr. Speaker.
Is there any objection? The chair is done. Motion is approved. Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I move we suspend consideration of House Bill number 5975. I so move, Mr. Speaker.
Is there any objection? The chair is done. Motion is approved. Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I move we resume consideration of House Bill number 5912 and again ask the Secretary General to read the title of the bill.
Is there any objection? The chair is done. The Secretary General is now directed to read the title of the bill.
House Bill Number 5912, an act declaring July 27 of every year a special national non-working holiday, amending for the purpose Republic Act Number 9645, otherwise known as the commemoration of the founding anniversary of Iglesia ni Cristo Act.
Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I move that the names of the distinguished Minority Floor Leader, Benny Abante, be made co-author. If not a special, is there a special co-author? Mr. Speaker? Mr. Speaker, is there a special co-author?
Is there any objection for that?
Special.
Is there any objection? The chair is done. Motion is approved. Majority Leader.
I also move that we make the Honorable Belmonte a co-principal author, and so Honorable Macapagal Arroyo and my partner here, Honorable Romualdo, also as principal author of the said measure. I so move, Mr. Speaker.
Is there any objection? The chair is done. The motion is approved. Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, move to suspend sessions for a minute.
Session suspended.
Ano na? Ha?
Yeah. Said okay. We can.
Kaya nga eh. No, at least nauna tayo. Session resumed. Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I move that we consider on second reading House Bill number 6228 as contained in Committee Report number 225, and that the Secretary General be directed to read the title of the measure.
Is there any objection? The chair is none. Motion is approved. The Secretary General is now directed to read the title of the bill.
House Bill Number 6228, an act mandating all barangays to create a registry of skilled workers.
Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I move that we open the period of sponsorship and debate, and that we recognize the Chairman of the Committee on Labor and Employment, Representative Enrico Pineda, to sponsor the measure.
Is there any objection? The chair is done. The gentleman from 1 Pacman, Congressman Enrico Pineda, Chairman of DOLE, is recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. May I present for plenary consideration and approval House Bill number 6228, entitled An Act Mandating All Barangays to Create a Registry of Skilled Workers, authored by Representative Romanti Romulo. This bill seeks to create a skilled workers registry in every barangay, which shall serve as a repository of skilled workers' information. Specifically, this bill mandates every barangay to create a registry that will serve as a database for all skilled workers who voluntarily register and are willing to make their services available in their locality. Number two, it mandates the barangay to make the registry available to the public by posting a copy on the barangay's bulletin board or at a conspicuous place within the barangay halls. Thirdly, this will allow the barangay to get details about the skilled worker, such as name, address, contact details, skills, nature of services offered by the worker, test the national certificate number, and expiration date, if any, and any other details that the barangay deems necessary. And lastly, this prohibits the barangay from collecting registration fees from workers who wish to be listed in the skills registry. Mr. Speaker, our proposal to establish a skills registry in all barangays will provide more employment opportunities for our workers, as well as contribute to the economic well-being of our nation. I therefore pray for the approval of this bill. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, inasmuch as there's no any House members who wants to interpolate our sponsor, may move for the close of the bill of the sponsorship of the bill, House Bill number 6228. I move, Mr. Speaker.
Is there any objection? The chair is done. Motion is approved. Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, we move to open the period of amendments. I move, Mr. Speaker.
Is there any objection? The chair is done. Motion is approved. Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, there will be no members who wants to signify the intentions of the individual amendments and the committee amendments. May we move to close the period of amendments? So move, Mr. Speaker.
Is there any objection? The chair is done. Motion is approved. Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, we move to approve House Bill number 6228 and second reading. So move, Mr. Speaker.
There is a motion to approve House Bill number 6228 on second reading. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All those against say nay. The ayes have it. House Bill number 6228 is now approved on second reading. Majority Leader. Majority Leader.
Yes, Mr. Speaker, I move that we consider House Bill 1338 and may we direct the Secretary General to read the title of the House Bill. So move, Mr. Speaker.
Is there any objection? The chair is done. Motion is approved. The Secretary General is now directed to read the title of the bill.
House Bill number 1338, an act increasing the service incentive leave of employees, amending for the purpose Article number 95 of Presidential Decree 442 as amended, otherwise known as the Labor Code of the Philippines.
Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I move that we open the period of sponsorship and debate and may we recognize the Honorable Congressman Eric Pineda for his sponsorship speech. So move, Mr. Speaker.
Congressman Enrico Pineda is recognized again.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. May I present for plenary consideration and approval House Bill number 1338, entitled An Act Increasing the Service Incentive Leave of Employees, amending for purpose Article 95 of Presidential Decree number 442 as amended, otherwise known as the Labor Code of the Philippines, authored by Representative Mark Go, Luis L. Rey Villaperte, et al. This bill seeks to grant an additional 5 days to the current 5 days service incentive leave with pay already being enjoyed by workers and employees in the private sector, making the total yearly service incentive leave 10 days. The main purpose of this proposal is to meet the need of employees for a balanced work life by providing them a longer period of mandatory leave benefit with pay. With the above proposal, the committee believes that we can further promote the welfare of our workers, especially those who may be affected by emergencies, fortuitous event, or are vulnerable to sickness, which would cost them a day of paid work. I therefore pray for the approval of this bill. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, there being no other member who wishes to interpolate the sponsor, I move that we close the period of sponsorship and debate. So move, Mr. Speaker.
Is there any objection? The chair is done. Motion is approved. Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I move that we open the period of amendments for the individual and committee amendments. So move, Mr. Speaker.
Is there any objection? The chair is done. Motion is approved. Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, being no other member who wishes to make any individual nor committee amendments, I move that we close the period of amendments. So move, Mr. Speaker.
Is there any objection? The chair is done. Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I withdraw my previous motion. Mr. Speaker, may we recognize the Honorable Dagook for his proposed amendment.
Mr. Speaker, Honorable Sponsor, may I request that I will be included as author of the said measure?
Majority Leader, you have no any objection on that authorship?
Mr. Speaker, if the author has no violent objections to that,
No
that
objection.
we accept.
No objection, Your Honor.
Mr. Speaker, I move that we put the name of the Honorable Dagook as a co-author of the said measure. I so move, Mr. Speaker.
Is there any objection? The chair is done. Motion is approved. Majority Leader.
Thank you, Honorable Sponsor.
Mr. Speaker, I move that we close the period of amendments. So moved, Mr. Speaker.
Is there any objection? The chair is done. Motion is approved. Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I move that we approved on second reading House Bill 1338. So moved, Mr. Speaker.
There is a motion to approve House Bill number 1338 on second reading. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All those against say nay. The ayes have it. House Bill number 1338 is now approved on second reading.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I move to approve the journal last Monday, February 17, 2020, journal number 44, to be specific. I so move, Mr. Speaker.
Is there any objection? The chair is done. Motion is approved. Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I move for the adoption of House Resolution number 716. So move, Mr. Speaker.
Is there any objection? The chair is done. Motion is approved. Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, we withdraw that motion and we'd like to make a new motion that we consider for adoption House Resolution 716 and that the Secretary General be directed to read the title of the
Is there any objection? The chair is done. The Secretary General is now directed to read the bill. Title.
House Resolution 716, resolution congratulating and commending Carlos Edril Yulo for winning the first ever gold medal in the 49th Federation International de Gymnastic World Artistic Men's Finals Gymnastics Championship held in Hans Martin, Stuttgart, Germany on October 4 to October 13, 2019.
Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I move that we adopt the House Resolution number 716. So move, Mr. Speaker.
Is there any objection? The chair is done. The House Resolution number 716 is hereby adopted. Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker,
Majority Leader.
I move that we adopt House Bill. I move that we consider for adoption House Bill 697 and may we direct the Secretary General to read the title.
Is there any objection? The chair is done. The Secretary General is now directed to read the title of the bill. Session suspended.
What did I?
Oo, sige. Session resume. Majority Leader. Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I move that we consider for adoption House Resolution number 697 and direct the Secretary General to read its title. So moved, Mr. Speaker.
Is there any objection? The chair is none. The Secretary General now is directed to read the title of the bill.
House Resolution 697, resolution congratulating and commending Filipino boxer Nesty Alcalde Petacio for winning the gold medal in the 2019 Association International de Boxing Amateur Women's World Boxing Championship held in Ulan-Ude, Russia on October 3 to 13, 2019.
Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I move that we adopt House Resolution number 697. So moved, Mr. Speaker.
Is there any objection? The chair is none. Motion is approved. Resolution number 697 is now adopted. Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I move that we consider on second reading House Bill number 5887 as contained in Committee Report number 179. Second.
There is a motion to approve House Bill number,
Consider on second.
to consider on second reading 5887. 5887. The Secretary General is now directed to read the title.
May ano kasi? May
House Bill number 5887, an act providing for the construction of infrastructure projects in Cebu City and Cebu Province and appropriating funds therefore.
Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I move that we open the period of sponsorship and debate and that the explanatory note on the measure be adopted as a sponsorship for the said measure.
Any objection? The chair is done. Motion is approved.
Mr. Speaker, there being no member wishes to interpolate, I move that we close the period of sponsorship and debate.
Is there any objection? The chair is done. Motion is approved. Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I move that we open the period of amendments.
Is there any objection? The chair is done. Motion is approved.
Mr. Speaker, there being no committee amendments, I move that we now proceed to consider individual amendments.
Is there any objection? The chair is done. Motion is approved. Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, to propose an amendment to the bill, I move that we recognize Representative Onyx Crisologo.
Congressman Onyx Crisologo is recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. During the Committee on Public Works, it was discussed and proposed that then on Section 1 to delete the entire provision and in lieu of substitute the following amendments. Section 1, there shall be constructed under the supervision of the Department of Public Works and Highways an undersea tunnel or bridge from Cebu City to the municipality of Cordova, province of Cebu, and a coastal road expressway to Bactan Cebu International Airport.
Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, the majority concurs with the proposed amendment, and I move that we accept the amendment.
Is there any objection? The chair is done. The motion is approved. Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I move that we close the period of amendments.
Is there any objection? The chair is done. Motion is approved. Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I move that we approve on second reading House Bill number 5887.
There is a motion to approve House Bill number 5887. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
And those who are against, say nay. The ayes have it. House Bill number 5887 is now approved on second reading. Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I now move that we consider bills under the calendar of business for Thursday and Friday, and pursuant to our rules, allow me to put forth an omnibus motion for the consideration of the following measures. House Bill number 6167 under Committee Report 216, House Bill number 6181 under Committee Report 217, House Bill number 6216 under Committee Report 221, House Bill number 6218 under Committee Report 222, House Bill number 6227 under Committee Report 224, and House Bill 6255 under Committee Report 229. Mr. Speaker.
There is a motion for the omnibus motion for this following House Bill, read by the Majority Leader. Those who are in favor, please say aye. And those who are against, say nay. Ayes have it. The aforementioned House Bill, proposed House Bill, is now approved on second reading. Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I move that we suspend session.
Session suspended.
Yeah.
Session resume. Majority Leader.
Kailangan daw nasa taas. Mr. Speaker, I move that we reconsider the approval of the earlier measures.
Is there any objection? The chair is done. Motion is approved. Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I now move that we again consider the measures we earlier mentioned under the calendar of business for Thursday and Friday.
Is there any objection? The chair is done. Motion is approved. Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I move that we open the period of sponsorship and debate.
Is there any objection? The chair is done. Motion is approved. Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I move that we consider the respective explanatory notes as the sponsorship of the aforementioned measures.
Is there any objection? The chair is done. Motion is approved. Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, there being no member wishes to interpolate on the said local bills, I move that we terminate the period of sponsorship and debate.
Is there any objection? The chair is done. Motion is approved. Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I now move that we open the period of amendments.
Is there any objection? The chair is done. Motion is approved. Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I now move that we approve the committee amendments, if any, as contained in the respective committee reports of the aforementioned bills. And there being no individual amendments, I thereafter move that we terminate the period of amendments.
Is there any objection? The chair is done. Motion is approved.
Mr. Speaker, I now move that we vote on second reading the following House bills. House Bill number 6167, 6181, 6216, 6218, 6227, and 6255.
There is a motion to approve the said bill, proposed House Bill, be approved on second reading. All those in favor, please say aye. And those who are against, say nay. The ayes have it. House Bill number, the said House bills be approved on second reading. Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, allow us to greet the guests of Representative Sergio the Gook of APEC Party List. They are linemen from the electric cooperatives of Sharelco and Dielco. We have Mr. Dennis Aredidon, Mr. John Mark Tan, Mr. Elmer Garcia, and Mr. Charlito Antigro Jr.
To the guests of Congressman Sharelco, Congressman Dagook, welcome po kayo dito sa House of Representatives. Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, in accordance with our rules governing inquiries, in aid of the legislation, I move to refer the following House resolutions to the appropriate committees.
Is there any objection? The chair is done.
Mr. Speaker, before you approve it, I want to put it on record that these are House resolutions 670, referred to labor and employment, House Resolution 671, public order and safety, HR 672, agriculture and food and energy, HR 673, trade and industry, HR 674, transportation and health, HR 675, justice, HR 681, agrarian reform, HR 684, labor and employment, HR 685, ways and means, HR 686, public and information, and health. I so move, Mr. Speaker.
Is there any objection? The chair is done. The following House resolutions read by the Majority Leader be referred to the appropriate committees. Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I want to suspend for a minute.
Session suspended.
Meron pa? Pare, pag ginawa mo...
Sipag eh, tayo eh. Session resume. Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I move that we include additional co-authors to House Bill numbers 1338, 5083, 5887, 5912, 6167, 6181, 6192, 6194, 6216, 6218, 6222, 6227, 6228, 6252, 6254, 6255, 6256, and 6312. And House Resolutions 697 and 716 as contained in the list of the submitted by the Committee on Rules. I so move, Mr. Speaker.
Is there any objection? The chair is done. Motion is approved. Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I move to adjourn until February 24, exactly 3 p.m. I so move, Mr. Speaker.
Is there any objection? The chair is
Objection.
done.
I object, Mr. Speaker.
There's an objection, Mr. Majority Leader. Minority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, before we adjourn, I would like to commend our pages who stayed with us until the end of the session.
Mr. Speaker, I join the distinguished Minority Leader in doing the same act.
Is there any objection? The chair is
adjourn.
done. Motion is approved. Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, a privileged motion to adjourn sessions until February 24 at exactly 3 p.m., not 3:01, Mr. Speaker.
So is there any objection? The chair is done. Session is adjourned until February 24 at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Masaya eh. Di ba? Maraming na-emphasize. Picture oh.